Attention, everyone. This is an emergency broadcast. The unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake. Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go so that you can make the sound we broadcast as loud as possible.
Podcast with a morbid affection for the macabre.
That's us.
With me is our ray of sunshine.
I thought I was a sunbeam.
I changed it to sunshine.
Okay. I like being a ray of sunshine. I am Amanda Lane Olson.
And I'm your dark midnight caller, Will Liam.
That's cute.
Thank you. I thought it might be creepy. And this is Positively Horrid.
Hi.
Tonight we watched The Boy.
The Boy.
The Boy is a 2016 horror movie. I don't know how to get into this.
It's a 2016 horror movie.
Yeah, I said that.
That is, yeah, I know, but I'm reiterating. It's a 2016 horror movie that focuses on an American girl.
Mm-hmm.
Who,
a woman, if you will.
Okay, yeah. An American woman who comes to the countryside in England for a nannying position for a wealthy family.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents are going on holiday for the first time in a very long time. And they are leaving their son in the care of Miss Greta.
A full disclaimer, normally, we do the shocking reveal, the shocking twist.
Yep.
And so this movie, a lot of horror movies have them. This movie really revolves around it. So we're going to do kind of two synopses. One before the twist, and then we're going to reveal the twist, and then we're going to come back and kind of hit some notes again, just because it's so important to the movie. And
it really is.
This movie's really interesting to me and really good to me. And maybe I don't want to speak for you.
Oh, no, it's definitely something that makes it really good for me. I love... should we talk about would you consider the state of the boy on the opening? Would you consider that a twist, or does everybody already know?
I think that was in the trailer. That's what made me want to watch this movie.
Okay.
So we open. She's Greta's is asleep. She's awake at first. She's on her way to the mansion. She's getting driven there, and I only bring this up because there's this shot of the cab driver staring at her necklace between her cleavage, which she catches and then kind of buttons it up. And I was wondering if that was like,
well, her necklace is important because that comes up later.
Kinda, but I wondered if that was just a creepy thing, just to be like, oh, what a creepy old guy, or if that was important to the later themes of crappy dudes.
Yeah, crappy dudes is basically the theme of this movie, is terrible men being abusive towards women who trust them, basically.
Yeah, which we'll get into. She gets there, so she's there. She takes her shoes off because she's a weirdo.
Okay.
Because your feet will freeze off.
That's also true.
And I think the first person she meets is Malcolm.
That is correct. And she is wandering around in the house, and she is in one of the playrooms and touching stuff.
Like a horror movie main characters want to do.
Mm-hmm. And she gets interrupted and spooked by this young man whose name is Malcolm, and he's really pretty.
Young man. Yeah,
he's
put
so
that
pretty.
Qualifier on there.
He's so pretty.
And to the theme of this movie, I thought, and you could probably speak better to this than me, he was kind of non-toxic. Not even masculine. He
is just a good dude.
Yeah.
He is a good dude.
He flirts with her, but not forceful. She's receptive to it, so he kind of plays along, but he's never, too strong, too fast about it. He's just kind of
He makes his interest in her very clear.
But not in
not in a creepy way.
Yeah.
In a, hey, if you want to take me up on this thing, I'm totally down for that thing. He does a
the pro move flirt with the
gum
fortune telling.
He comes from a family of fortune tellers,
He
so
does
he
not.
says.
I
know. So he says, and she's chewing a piece of gum, and he asks her to spit out the gum in his hand so that he can read it for her. And the first time that he decides to read the gum, he gets it totally wrong, and it's all of this like stupid, oh, you're American, like stereotype stuff. And then the second time he reads it, it's like, oh shit. Like, he turns it over in his hand and he does it again, and it's actually too accurate, so accurate that it makes her uncomfortable, and she just closes herself off, and he's like, okay, I'm done flirting now.
Oh, and I thought maybe the cab driver was there to contrast to Malcolm. Like, he's this creepy, like, I'm just going to stare at your boobs guy. Mm-hmm. And then here's this very nice gentleman that's just...
Yeah. Well, we never, ever see the cab driver again.
No, he
so.
comes to pick him up. He's
That's right.
The
he
movie's
does
very
come
self-contained,
to pick up
which is fun.
He is the dude who comes to pick up the parents to go on holiday.
Because it's like, he's the driver, Malcolm's the grocer...
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. There's very few characters in this movie.
Yes.
Which sometimes can make it feel too small, but it didn't bother me in this movie. I liked it.
I thought it made perfect sense.
It helps make everything feel isolated.
Exactly.
So then, she's startled by the husband?
I thought it was... I can't remember.
Yeah.
She's startled by the parents, who bring her in to meet their son, Brahms.
And it's a doll.
Turns out that their son is a life-sized porcelain doll boy.
Yeah, one of those creepy, articulate dolls you see at conventions sometimes.
Except he's not even totally articulating.
Yeah,
he doesn't have like ball joints in any of his his knees or his elbows or anything.
Yes.
They're just like straight arms and legs.
With a creepy porcelain face. Greta laughs at them. They do not laugh, so she then immediately recants.
And then Malcolm comes in and is very, very serious about the doll.
Yeah,
and so she
takes
hand. Point from him and acts very seriously about it as well. She has a lovely conversation afterwards while the missus is doing lessons with Brahms. And she goes for a walk with Mr. Dad about the grounds to get rid of all the rats in the rat traps.
Yeah, they're obsessive with rat traps. He does this creepy which after we watched another English horror movie, and it's tough to tell what's a horror movie red flag and what's just England now, because he's like, yes, the house is creaky, and it sounds like screaming at night, and a painter, he painted all the windows shut, so there's really no escape, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and, I also work in an old house that, even though it's American, has taken a lot of pieces from English architecture, and it is the same type of thing, where it is, creaky and old and drafty, and it's probably haunted.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So then they go back inside, and then the husband's a little more, he's like, I know this seems crazy. It happened, a little bit at a time and then all at once, and now I guess you take it, you're like, oh, our kid's a doll now. And I don't think they ever say that the son is dead openly.
I don't think that the parents ever do. No,
they don't. So
they say
they
things
imply like our. I know this is crazy, but that doll is our son.
Yeah, they say he is here with us.
Yes, that's what it is.
That is what he says. But that's important for later.
But I just thought for a movie that was so, because we asked if the doll reveal was a reveal, but it wasn't, because that was kind of in the trailer. But the movie does a good job without ever openly saying anything that you're now as a haunted doll.
Yes.
Clearly which it was almost weird when Greta didn't treat it that way, but I guess she's a normal person. She doesn't.
Yeah.
She just thinks these are crazy people, not that this is a haunted doll.
Exactly.
Which was my thought.
Although, honestly, I'm the kind of person.
I assume all dolls are haunted.
I am the kind of person who would want to take care of the doll anyways, because I have a lot of complex feelings about projecting humanity onto inanimate objects.
She's also getting paid.
She's also getting paid very, very well.
Yeah, so it's like, just take care of the doll.
Just take care of the doll.
If somebody was like, hey, I need you to treat this stuffed bumblebee like a child
I would do it.
like $3,000 a week.
I would totally do it.
What you got?
But there's also a schedule. There's a very fixed schedule for the day that she has to follow with this doll, and 10 rules that she has to complete at any, like...
Yeah, so one of us should have written down, but we didn't. But, it's your standard English parenting.
It's the basics of, like, wake him up in the morning, dress him, feed him, give him his lessons. They're very specific about...
Well, before we get to that, because I took a note that the mom, knowing what she knows, what we'll get to, is being a real bitch about, like, because she's like, all right, show me how you're going to undress my doll son, which is, even with a doll,
it's
kind of
weird.
And then she's like, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you.
That's the kind of person she is,
It's
though.
true. That might just be how
that
English
is,
people...
I think that's just the way that she as a person
I think that's how all old English people... I've seen Harry Potter. They're all unpleasant.
They're not all unpleasant.
Aside from McGonagall, they're all unpleasant.
Trelawney's not unpleasant.
She's not that old. She hasn't reached the point yet.
The, like, crotchety old English...
they hit like 66, and they just become Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know, the worst.
I know. Jeez.
So they walk Greta through the rules, the dressing, the feeding, blah, 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 and then...
The lessons. She has to read to him very loudly and succinctly and clearly, enunciating her words like a proper lady, and plays music for him quite loudly.
Which his ears... He doesn't have ear holes. They're solid. So
he's got to be able to
gotta
to
vibrate
hear it
through that doll brain.
And then the 10th rule is to kiss him goodnight at the end of the night.
Yeah, tuck him in, kiss him goodnight. On the lips, which is, again, just weird. Even
No, that's not true. It doesn't have to be on the lips.
That's right, it was the forehead. I guess I was inferring.
No, you're just talking about the very last time she gives him a goodnight kiss.
It's true.
Don't forget the no guests rule.
Was that a rule?
Yes, it was on the guest list that she was not allowed to have any guests, and the only other person who could be in the house was Malcolm.
I didn't know if that was
She
like
was
a
not
hard
supposed to leave the house, and she was not supposed to have overnight guests.
Yeah, I knew she couldn't leave. And I just assumed that it was like an English village and there was only like 6 people.
When Malcolm came over, they did a shot of the rules, and that part was in focus, was she's not supposed to have guests over.
So she stays her first night, and then the last character to be introduced, I believe, second to last character to be introduced is my favorite friend, which is Exposition Friend.
Oh, I love Exposition Friend.
Exposition Friend. So there's
I don't even remember Exposition Friend's real name.
Matter.
But Exposition Friend...
Yeah, Greta's on the phone, and she literally just gives Greta's background by being like, I can't believe you're staying there. I can't believe your ex-husband, ex-boyfriend is asking about you a whole bunch. I can't believe how crazy and abusive he used to be.
Yeah, little 12-year-old kid who lives, like, at your old house gave him your forwarding address because he wanted to write you a letter. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so but she's just a voice the whole time, so I was kind of expecting at some point just for the phone to not be connected to anything. A little bit. But she's one of my favorite characters. So the next day happens, and then the parents leave. They go on vacation.
They say their goodbyes.
Oh, no, they have the creepy scene. They're in Brahms' room with the door shut, and you hear them talking to Brahms.
Well, he needs to make his decision on whether or not he actually likes Greta, because other people have come in to interview. A lot of people they auditioned. Yeah, they auditioned. They interviewed a lot of people for this job, and Brahms hasn't liked any of them. But Brahms likes Greta.
He chose Greta.
He chose Greta. Yes. And so she gets the job.
Yep. And they say their goodbyes. Oh, and then the mother
says I'm sorry in Greta's ear.
Yeah, which is
so creepy.
The first, like, oh, hey, I quit.
Uh-huh. She, like, just whispers, like, I'm sorry. as she's leaving in her ear, and then they both just walk away, and it's like, come along, mother. Okay, father. And then they just go on holiday.
And then Greta, which in my least favorite move, immediately just looks at Brahms and goes, sorry, you creep me out, and throws a blanket over him and just proceeds to completely ignore her job.
Yep.
That she's being, like, I get that this is crazy and it's a doll.
But you're getting paid,
so
much money. So much money.
They're still down the long driveway. They could have forgotten, like, their keys and come back and be like, what are you doing to Brahms?
You know they're not coming back.
Give it an hour before you start not doing your job.
Yeah. But she, like, immediately throws a big green blanket over his head and then goes and makes herself a peanut butter sandwich and...
Crusts off.
Yeah, no crusts.
Glass
and a
of
glass of
wine. And passes out day drinking. First day.
Yep.
Which, to be fair, this house is so boring. Like,
yeah, basically.
What else are you going to do? And no Wi-Fi.
What was she... No Wi-Fi. No television.
Ugh. What a nightmare.
Just books. Barely any
No,
books,
she asked exposition friend for magazines.
Yeah, I mean, because
like,
she doesn't want to read any of the old crusty books that are in their library that she has to read to Brahms.
So
I think she was reading a Vogue magazine when she was day drinking.
I think big magazine threw a little money at the boy for...
Yeah.
Come on. You might be trapped in a castle one day. So she walks past Brahm after she wakes up from her day drinking blackout. And
the blanket is
blanket's
gone.
Which it wasn't on there securely, so, you know.
Yeah, she did just sort of toss it.
Gravity could be involved, so she's like, whatever. And she goes to bed. And she has her first
nightmare.
She's walking past... Oh, there's a big creepy portrait of living Brahms and the parents.
Mm-hmm.
She walks over to it, and a hand reaches out and grabs her, and she wakes up.
Isn't it like both hands at her throat?
Yeah, it might be. I know that something reaches out.
Hands go through the portrait and grab her. That's what matters.
Which I think is the movie's first, like, oh, this is supernatural.
Yes.
Which I looking back, I was like, oh, that's cool, because I just from the creepy feel, I've been assuming that the whole time. But in the movie's defense, they're like, we've given you nothing.
Yeah, it was not overt until that moment.
So she wakes up. She finds Brahms. Same place, but then I think she throws him into... Is that when that happens?
I think... Isn't his, like, head, like...
Tilted?
Moved or tilted, like, looking in the direction that she left in or something? Okay.
I believe she throws him into a chair.
She does. She
room.
Picks him up and brings him to his room and tosses him in a chair forcefully and is like,
so that might be before the dream, because I don't think there's another night before she goes in the attic.
Well, and then the dream happens, and then she wakes up, and she finds him in his room, crying.
And then she looks up, and it's just the ceiling's leaky. It's just drip.
Because it's raining. And
well, it's England.
Yeah, exactly.
Wet. It's just wet always.
But the rain adds to the aesthetic of the scene.
Yes.
And so it is just ooky spooky, and it is raining, and so the leaky drips are landing right on the porcelain doll's, like, tear duct spot. And then she sees that happen, and she's like, oh, I was just imagining things and projecting my feelings of humanity onto this doll. I'm stupid.
Yes.
It's fine.
And she is, but for different reasons.
Exactly.
She also sees the pull-down door to the attic.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately it's like, well, I'm going up there. But luckily, it's also painted shut.
Yep.
Because of a bad painter or ghost intention.
If you find an attic in an old Victorian house that has a pull-down mechanism...
I'm going right up there.
Please don't.
No, I am, because you know why? There's like an 80% chance that family used to be Nazis.
Fuck.
Yeah, right?
Are we allowed to swear in this podcast?
You've already done it 3 times.
Okay.
So I've been counting because I wasn't sure.
Okay.
But I guess most of these movies are rated R, so whatever.
That's fine.
Fudge it.
What the fork, man?
But yeah, there's definitely Nazi paraphernalia in most old English people's houses, and I want it.
Why do you want
No,
it?
I want.
Why do you want it?
So that when I'm an old man, somebody can go in my attic and be like, "Oh my God," and I'm like, nah, I just found it.
What?
I don't know.
You're crazy.
Correct.
I just want to see all the neat old shit they have. But I
That's
wouldn't
true.
go up into the attic, and I certainly wouldn't do it at night like she was going to do. Heck no. I know better than that.
Yeah, I don't. I would do it. Whatever.
You know better, but you would just do it anyway.
I could beat that doll up. It's fine.
I don't know what kind of supernatural powers that doll has. I ain't risking it.
I know he, I
I'm
know
going to take very good care of that doll so that
I know
doll
I can
likes me.
kick harder than him.
I mean, yeah, he's porcelain.
Exactly. I'll give him to my dog.
He might have telekinesis.
All right. We'll think this through. We've gone off on a tangent.
I like this tangent, though. So, yeah, creepy attic.
Well, Greta, Malcolm comes by with her sweet, sweet bread. Both physical bread, actual bread, and cash money in a check. It's not cash money. Or no, it was cash money.
It was cash money.
This doesn't matter.
It was definitely cash money.
Pound sterling?
Yeah.
So, and then she's like, hey, you didn't fucking tell me about the doll. And he's like, I don't know what do you want me to say?
He basically says, like, okay, well, there are two kinds of talk around town.
No, that's not yet.
That's later.
She was just like, why didn't you tell me these people were crazy? And he was just like,
You'd find out eventually.
And then he asks her out. He's like, why don't you get out of here? It's a creepy old house. Come to town with me. And it'll be totally friends. Like, he's being...
Brahms won't mind.
Yeah, Brahms
And
won't
then
mind.
he does the cute thing where he pretends to be Brahms's voice. And,
Yes.
and he's like, it's all right. I need some Brahms time.
That's what it is.
It was so cute.
So then she calls Exposition Friend again. And
Exposition Friend is all like, oh, so it's a date, isn't it? And she's like, no, it's not a date. And Exposition Friend is like, I bet you're going to wear your salmon dress, aren't you? Do you have a bottle of wine right now? And she does. She has her salmon dress out, and she has a bottle of wine, and she vehemently denies to Exposition Friend either of these things. But Exposition Friend knows her really well and knows that she thinks it's a date.
This is also when Exposition Friend... It might be later, but at some point, Exposition Friend does say, oh, I gave your abusive ex your address. In England.
Well, it wasn't her. It was the 12-year-old kid that just gets briefly mentioned once who was like...
I thought it was her.
I thought it was like a brother or something.
No, I thought it was her. She's just like, I didn't know what else to do because he's crazy and abusive, and he wouldn't stop bothering me. But regardless...
I'm pretty sure they mention a 12-year-old.
They might have.
Because I was like, wait, is Cole 12? And no. No, Cole is not 12. Whoever...
Her abusive ex-boyfriend is not a 12-year-old
No,
boy.
the person who gave the abusive ex-boyfriend her address was only 12 and didn't know what else to do. So gave the address to write a letter.
So anyway...
Then we have the obligatory horror movie shower scene.
Which is not...
It's not as bad as most horror movie shower scenes.
Not graphic. Gratuitous.
Yes.
It's just, a shower scene.
It's a shower
scene.
scene.
They don't show anything. They don't weirdly pan over her body or anything,
nope.
Which is a very common horror movie thing. But she takes off the aforementioned necklace and then her dress and then gets in the shower. And we get a presumably Brahms eye view of somebody walking up, looking at her in the shower a little bit, seeing the dress, seeing the necklace, and then we get a cool shot of just the chain of the necklace falling off the sink.
And then the dress falling.
Which was very cool. And then she gets out. She only has an impossibly secure towel.
That is an amazing... I want to know what kind of towel that is, because no matter what she goes through in that towel, that thing stays the fuck on.
And I'm pretty sure that's more than one horror movie has that. So I think somebody out there is marketing hard damsel towels.
I want those towels. I don't want to have to go through what I'd have to go through in order to make those towels really work.
We'll make a website and sell
horror damsel towels.
Horror damsel towels. Positively horror damsel towels.
Okay, I'm in.
So she's wandering around. She's like Malcolm, because who else would possibly have done this? And the pull down attic stairs are open.
Yep.
And
well, don't forget that her room's been rifled
That's
through.
right, her room was rifled through. And in a towel, instead of like...
going and dressing before she goes up the attic stairs.
You didn't take all her clothes, just this dress.
Yeah, but her closet is open and her drawers are opened. And she's like, what the fuck is this? If somebody's playing a prank on me, it isn't funny. And she goes up the stairs into the attic, and then the attic pull-down stairs closes
Snap right up
behind her.
And
she is stuck in the attic.
And then Malcolm
arrives.
Seemingly unlikely that he had done this and then ran out of the house.
And then drove up again.
Because I thought about that. I was like, maybe it was Malcolm, but...
there was no way.
Yeah. It would be a huge cop-out if that were the case.
Also, isn't it raining again?
It's England, probably.
Yeah. And
so
he was not in the rain doing that shit.
She's, like, screaming for Malcolm. He can't hear her because she's at the top of this giant castle mansion, and the windows are all shut. And he leaves.
Yeah, because he thinks
He's
he
a
just got
sad.
stood up.
Yeah, he pouts.
Yeah.
And he leaves.
Poor Malcolm.
Poor Malcolm. And then she sees, I think, a mannequin? A dress form?
Something like that, yeah.
And spooks her. And then
she falls
hits her
head
and
dies.
is
knocked. What?
Regardless of how this movie ends, she was unconscious all night. She's got an aneurysm, and she's gonna die.
Yeah,
There's a blood clot in her brain.
That part was weird. She fell over and hit her head on the ground, and then was just unconscious
she just
until morning, and then just
That's
woke up.
a movie thing, but she's for sure dead.
Wait, maybe that's the actual twist, is that she was dead the whole time.
Yeah, it's that short story that I can never remember the name of. But yeah, this is all just her life right before she dies. Oh, that's the twist, guys, that we were getting to.
No, it wasn't.
No. Oh, and she finds some
that.
pictures of Brahms up there.
Yeah. Including the photograph that the creepy painting is based on.
Yeah. So then she does call Malcolm, and she has Malcolm go through the house and look for any intruders.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of... He's still playful, but still kind of teases her too much for...
being spooked.
A woman who's terrified. He's like, so an intruder came in and just touched your stuff and left. But they discovered the stairs pretty snappy.
Yep.
They pop up on their own. And she's like, well, who went through my stuff? He kind of like whatever. Like I guess maybe he's...
I don't know who went through your stuff, but it sure as heck wasn't me, and it definitely wasn't you, and there's nobody else in this house, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that felt kind of weird that he was just fully... That's it. I was back on the Malcolm did this train a little bit.
I never thought he did that.
I thought he did a little bit.
And then they flirt.
Yes.
A whole bunch.
Yeah, he
because
hangs out.
she was really apologetic about standing him up because she didn't mean to and was getting ready with her sexy salmon dress and everything.
Mm-hmm. The sexiest of all colors.
Uh-huh. Because it's not quite pink, but it's not quite orange.
Well, there's all those omega-3 fatty acids in there, too.
Yum.
Real fatty acids have curves. So Malcolm sticks around, and then they start talking about Brahms. And that's the what people say in public and what people say when they're drunk.
So she wants to know about the real, honest-to-goodness little boy Brahms. And he was like, well, there's pub talk, and then there's polite talk. And the polite talk says that Brahms is just, an average little boy. And the pub talk said that he was a real creep. Even though he was, like 7 or something?
And that, I think this is also the reveal that he had a little friend who was a little girl. And then on his birthday, they went into the woods, and then they found the little girl dead. And when they ran back to Brahms's house,
there was a fire.
There was already a fire up in the attic.
And then
he died.
They went for a walk and they saw Brahms's headstone, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's when you get the confirmation that Brahms was a little boy and he died in a fire, and was a creep.
A real creep.
Yeah. So I think Malcolm leaves. I forgot how long it took for like full creep to happen in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it just has such a good ambiance.
I love it.
Oh, all right. So that's when it goes.
That's when it goes full creep.
Because she's I think she talks to exposition friend a little bit, and then they're done, and then the phone rings, and that's when you get your obligatory, not heavy breathing, but light breathing in this case.
Light breathing. And she's like, who is this? What is going on here? What is this? What's happening?
And that I think if for some point it's you get your
Greta.
Why won't you follow the rules, Greta?
Greta. Why don't you follow the rules?
She's full terrified.
She is reasonably incredibly freaked out.
Cause and then the phone won't call out. Because I think she tries to call
She
Malcolm
tries to
or
call.
a friend or anybody.
Yeah, she tries to call exposition friend back.
Then we get the pitter patter
of actual little
Brahms feet, and
he's outside of her door, being like, Greta, I just want you to play with me. I'll be good, Greta. And then there's shuffle, 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 and a plate appears. You can see like him put something down. And like the little crack underneath the door. And he's like, Greta, please, Greta, it's your favorite. And then he scampers away. And she goes and she opens the door. And there's a platter outside of the door with a peanut butter sandwich with the crust cut off.
Now, do you think the ghost had pre-made this peanut butter sandwich? Or does he have preternatural sandwich making abilities? Because he patters away maybe a minute and comes back from the kitchen with a full sandwich. You think he had planned this while she was out?
I think he made it for her.
He's chit-chatting. She's chit-chatting with Malcolm, and he's like, I'll show him. I'll make a sandwich with the crust cut off.
No, I think he made it when she was on the phone with exposition friend.
A fresher sandwich.
Yeah. She was on the phone with exposition friend. He went and made her a sandwich.
That's the
and
deleted
then when
scene
she was
that I want is the little doll
making a peanut butter sandwich. And so he made her the sandwich, and he just went and grabbed it and was like, I have this already set up, and then went back and put it down and was like, I made your favorite.
I didn't know they had peanut butter in England.
They have peanut butter in England.
I thought they'd make like a jam and brown sauce sandwich.
That's disgusting.
I know. Have you had their food?
Yeah, they basically boil everything and then call it
Yeah, or
food.
they'd at least boil a peanut butter and jelly
No,
sandwich.
that's gross.
Greta.
Do you know how much English people like American food?
I boiled all the flavour out of it just the way Mum likes.
Oh, that's disgusting.
You
That's
hear that?
nasty.
Amanda says that England
No,
is disgusting.
no, that's not what I said.
And I agree.
No, that's not what I said. Also, English people really like American food because it has a flavor. Do you know how many, like, sugary cereals and things all of my English friends just...
See, I thought they did have a lot of sugar. That's, like, the only thing they did. Because their candy's, like...
Their candy is
insulin fuel.
amazing. But it's not candy. It's like cereals and things. And, like, Twinkies. I have an English friend who is obsessed with Twinkies. Like,
when the turnip harvest is poor, they need to get their carbs in somewhere.
Peanut butter sandwich.
There's a movie. So she gets the
sandwich.
peanut butter sandwich, and then she starts to laugh because
oh my goodness, it's just a little kid. It's a little boy, and he just wants to play.
And this was a big red flag for me, even on the first watch through, because we talked about abuse and how it would come up, because he terrifies her, he terrorizes her, and then he makes this little gesture and this cute, like, oh, I'm sorry, here's a sandwich, I just want to be friends.
It's your favorite, please just play with me.
Yeah. Which is the honeymoon terror phase thing of psychologically abusive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I guess I'm more familiar with, but I was like, that's it! That's it right there.
See, I was less familiar with it, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness, this
what a
poor
cute
little."
doll.
I was like, this poor little boy doesn't know how to communicate with this human person anymore because he's a ghost, and what he does is scary.
Is he a ghost?
He's a ghost.
Or is he a ghost? What type? There's two types.
He's a ghost.
He's a ghost. All right, cool. I just wanted to establish.
Yeah, but yeah, and like. He just doesn't know how to people very well because he's been dead for like 25 years.
Oh, so after that she's fully sold on the thing that this is a ghost boy, and that she wants to take care of it. So I think she tells exposition friend that she's like, I think she calls back.
Yeah.
And she's like, I gotta go.
I have to take
I'm doing
care
it.
of
I gotta
this
go
boy.
do my job I've been ignoring the whole time.
Yep. And so she decides, like, she's all in on it. She's gonna follow all the rules because that's all this little boy wants.
And then cut to creepy Brom mom and Brom dad writing a letter to Brahms that's, hey,
We're never coming
we're
back.
never coming back.
We love you, but fuck you. Goodbye.
Greta's yours, creepy. Goodbye. And my first thought was, why do you have to write a letter to a ghost?
Yeah.
I don't understand ghosts, but I feel like you could think real hard.
I mean, if he's just anchored to that one spot, then maybe that you would need to.
The physics of real correspondence and metaphysical ghosts is very baffling to me. I thought it was weird that they had to
from a screenplay writing standpoint, they needed to have the physical words on a piece of paper for the audience to see.
Can a ghost get an email?
I don't know.
Oof.
Do ghosts have internet? Do they have internet in the afterlife?
They must. I think Wi-Fi is ghosts.
Is Wi-Fi ghosts?
I think it's made out of ghosts.
So, like, ghosts are, like, delivering our emails?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, they get a little...
I love it. I love it.
I
Every time I send an email or, like, a text
A little
message or
ghost
something
is
now, I'm going to
zipping
be
out.
like,
Little ghost
thank you,
mailman.
little ghosty.
It might be in Wreck-It Ralph, too. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet either. It hasn't come out yet.
Oh, hey, and the parents kill themselves.
Oh, yeah. They put lots and lots of rocks into their heavy...
No, they put, like, 2, which is not enough to drown yourself.
They are big rocks, though.
And they're bony people. There's not a lot to float them, I think.
That too.
They're bony
And then they
English
just
people.
walk out onto a lake. And...
Yeah, on the rocky, rock-filled, unpleasant English beaches.
And then they drown.
Yeah.
And that's the end, and they're dead. Don't you think they could have told the ghosts that they're dead when they're dead?
Yeah, they go visit them. Be like, hey, we're ghosts now, too.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
they never want to see Brahms
No, they
again.
yeah,
That's
no,
why
they would
left.
never ever want to see Brahms
How
again.
awkward if they're all in the afterlife and he's like, Mom and Dad, and they're like, oh, shit. No, we're different.
New ectoplasm. Who's this?
So Greta's all in. She's making food for this kid. She's sitting down with him.
Playing the piano
She's
for
playing
him.
the piano. She's playing loud music for him.
Not just any piano. She is playing Brahms' Lullaby
That's right.
to him.
TM, Brahms Lullaby. She's following the rules, basically.
All of the rules. Well, I don't think she follows rule number 10 yet.
No, I think she gives him a little forehead smoocheroo.
I think she's nervous about it first, and then she does it.
Yeah. And then Malcolm comes back.
And is like, Greta, you're having a mental breakdown.
Yeah, like, hey, Greta, what's up with this doll? And she's like, it's Brahms. And he's like, yeah, I know. Why are you treating him like Brahms?
And she's like, okay, well, I need to take care of him like Brahms, okay?
And
Leave me alone about it.
She doesn't fully come out and be like, I've had a supernatural experience, which I thought was... I mean, I guess that's a tough thing to say to anybody.
Yeah.
But she's being very weird, treating this like a child. And Malcolm's like,
And then
oh, no, he asked her out again.
And then she's like, I really can't. I really shouldn't. I need to follow the rules.
Yes.
I need to take care of Brahms. Brahms wouldn't like it. And he's like, all right, then. I'm just gonna drop off your groceries and then leave you. Goodbye. And then she's like, crap. I really like this guy and I really want to go out with him.
Brahms, if you're here, give me a sign.
If you're here, give me a sign. I need confirmation
if I'm
from
not
you
gonna
again.
bang Malcolm, this needs to be a real ghost.
Yes.
And he does nothing. She turns her back. Plate on the ground.
And then the doll's gone.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That's right.
He disappears.
Yeah, she finds him in a different room.
And then she's like, okay, good. This is actually legit.
Yeah, jump cut. She calls Malcolm shows up again, and he's like, hey, what's going on? Because you said no before. And she's giddy and kind of unhinged.
And he's like, listen. I have proof. I can actually show you that this is legit now. Watch this. And so...
And she's also babbling, like just...
A little bit.
Clearly not quite...
All there.
Yeah.
So she puts the Brahms doll down on the floor, and traces a chalk circle around him and is like, okay, Brahms, we're going to play a game. Ready? Okay. And then she takes Malcolm into the other room and knocks on the wall 3 times. And then goes back, and the doll has not moved.
No.
At all.
No.
Not even a little bit. And then she's, like, desperately pleading at this point. Like, come on, I need to show him. I need to show him what you can do.
Do it for
show him
me.
what you can show me. I know that you're shy, but you can trust him. We care about you, Brahms. Please do this for us. And then she goes into the other room again, closes the door, knocks on the wall 3 times, goes back, and Brahms has moved. He is not anywhere near that little circle that's drawn in chalk.
His little boy butt that she drew.
And then she gets all like, oh my god, this is exciting. And then Malcolm is
Malcolm's sold.
holy shit, this is actually a thing.
And he's kind of, I don't know, he's on board. Like he's never like, he's a little bit like, is this a parlor chick? She's like, no. And he's like, all right. So we don't, he's like, which I respect. He's cautiously like, okay, we don't know what this is, but I will admit that something not natural is happening here.
Yes.
And so she's like, I think it's the ghost of the boy. And he's like, it could be. So he's very nice about it. He also says it's special because I think she carries Brahms around a little bit, and he's not really freaked out by it anymore because he's also kind of treating it like a child.
Yeah.
And they start getting heavy.
He does mention, like, I don't know what this is. It definitely seems to be Brahms, but even if it is Brahms, it might not be good.
Yeah, he is a little cautious. Then they smoocheroo.
They do smoocheroo. Because she also reveals at this point in time, like, I feel like I'm here for a reason.
Yeah,
and the reason that I feel like I'm here and that I'm connected to this is because I lost a child.
Yes, she says that, doesn't she? Explain it? Yeah, she gets hit by abusive ex.
She had the abusive ex, and she was pregnant with his kid, and then he was at first all honeymoony with her and was very good and was like, I'll never ever like raise a hand to you ever again. And then he gets angry, and then he does, and then shit's whack, and she loses the baby. And she's like, I know what it's like to lose a child. I'm here to essentially to take care of this child.
Yes.
That is why I was brought here. That's why he chose me.
And Malcolm is like full on for this dad position now. Which
Hell yes.
A little weird.
Oh, it's pretty weird.
So, and they tuck Brahms in. They go back to Greta's room, and they're ready to bone down.
So ready. They are all about it.
Which then we get another little let's say Brahms height view of a keyhole, old style keyhole that you could just peep right through.
Watching them, getting it on.
Just go into the bone zone. And then
the bone zone.
Brahms' loud music starts playing.
And they're like, well, we can't do that now.
Well, they run downstairs, and I believe Brahms is there.
He is sitting in the chair listening to his loud music. And,
so
it's not like a rock music or anything.
Yeah, it's like weird
classical
music.
Yeah.
And so she's like, he's upset. Malcolm's like, all right, well, that was weird. So back to your room. And Greta's like, no, my child is upset.
I can't bone you under this roof while Brahms is here because he'll know and he won't like it.
Which is still, I know that...
It's creepy.
He's now kind of assuming this, like, child position of hers, but he's still doing abuse. This is, like, controlling her, you'll do what I want, kind of, like, abuse. So it takes a weird position because she's now treating him like her kid, but...
Yeah.
I still see that type of abuse.
It's definitely still that type of abuse. Like, you will follow the rules, or I will take away the things you want, kind of thing.
So, Malcolm leaves, because I think he's less down for this than he thought.
Yep.
We get a little montage of Greta just going through the daily Brahms routine, getting the rats, fulfilling, her contract, the rules. Then we hear somebody playing pool down in the billiards room. She assumes it's Malcolm.
Goes
Shocker.
in to say hi, and oh shit, it's creepy ex-boyfriend Cole.
Oh, and he's so ponytail, weird construction worker.
I thought he was kind of cute at first, and then he started to speak, and I was like, dear God, no.
And he is just the avatar of Brahms is emotionally manipulative abuser. Cole is toxic masculinity, physical abuser.
100%.
Which is also emotional, but I mean, he's like.
But like he is overt abuse, whereas Brahms is like subversive about it and is like less. It's less clear that that's what's happening.
Yeah, and he's like bought plane tickets, and he's like, "We're going home now."
You're gonna come home with me tomorrow. Forget the doll. Here I was thinking we were gonna have to get rid of this kid somehow, but
so
now that I find out that it's just a doll, that solves all our problems for us.
And she kind of explains that like they're crazy. I get paid to take care of a doll, and which is kind of like, all right, I guess they're eccentric, weird old English people, so fine. And that they have a weird, creepy dinner. Because I mean, I guess one, she can't really get rid of him, and two, she's also still under his abusive power.
Yep.
And he's talking about how he has a new job and he's gonna get her a job and everything will be better now. Malcolm shows up and he's immediately like, "Should I be worried? Is this a man talking to you?" Blah 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 blah.
And it's gross.
Yeah, it's super
gross.
Really,
really gross. And obviously, like, yeah, he has reason to be worried, but...
No, he doesn't! He's not with...
Well, I mean, like, in his brain parts. Like, that's his, like, worry parts.
Stop defending this man.
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying, like, yeah, he has reason to be worried because Malcolm is so much better than him.
So Malcolm's like, "Can I talk to you?" And he's like, let's leave. And she can't, and it's not her fault. But she's like, "I can't. It's fine. I got this." And Malcolm's like, "All right, like I can't make you leave."
And then he doesn't actually leave.
Yeah, he does.
He does the thing where he's like, "I know this is gonna go wrong somehow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to sleep in my car on site so that if something happens, I'm still here and can help." Because he's such a good boy.
So Greta tells Cole to sleep on a couch, and she goes to bed.
He's
with
like,
Brahms.
"Oh, I'm not gonna stay in your bed," and it's like, ew, 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 gross.
Yeah, and she tells Brahms not to worry because she's not going anywhere. But I think she asks him for help.
She does. She snuggles up on the bed with him and is like, "Brahms, listen, I don't want to go anywhere. I am here for you, but I'm gonna need your help if I'm gonna be able to stay." And then, Q2, a droplet of blood, just drip, drip, drip of blood falling on Cole's face in the middle of the night.
And Brahms from the Ghosts Handbook, it's the Beetlejuice one.
Oh, the Handbook for the Recently Deceased?
Yeah, full on just get outs in blood on the wall.
In rat blood.
Yeah, in rat blood.
And leaves the dead rats in Cole's
bag,
in his luggage. And Brahms is just sitting there on the radiator just staring at him. And he wakes up and is like, "Greta, did you do this shit? Like, what is this?" And she sees that it's Brahms, and she was like, "Oh my god, no it wasn't
Brahms.
me. It was Brahms." And he's like, "It was the fucking doll? Are you kidding?"
And she's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, okay, well then I can solve this." And he grabs the doll. She freaks out. Malcolm comes in. He's like, "Put that doll down." And he's like, "I don't know.
You mean this doll?" Swings it around.
"You want me to put the hammer down?"
And then he smashes the doll.
Yeah.
And oh my god, it was so painful because, like I said before, I have issues where I project humanity onto inanimate objects, and here he is literally just smashing this doll's head in, and
abusive or not, like he turned on Cole, so we're just now starting to root for Brahms, and then he smashes Brahms, and then the whole fucking house starts to shake. And you're like, oh
no,
you
really
released him or something?
Yeah, you fucked up. This spirit of this doll is gonna get you now. And the walls are all shaking and things are falling over.
There's a pause. Cole's like, "I hear something." He puts his head up against this window.
It's a mirror.
Yeah, a mirror. What is a mirror if not a window? A real shiny window.
No, that's beside the point.
So he puts his head up against it, and smash! A hand comes through, and then smash! The whole goddamn wall just explodes out. So in a full-grown sized man in a Brahms with a
Mask.
Brahms head. Well, to me,
It looked like it was just like.
So sold on the Brahms ghost.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I
literally
thought it was like
just
an avatar of Brahms, like the demon.
It literally just looked like it was like a dude
like
who had a porcelain face.
See, I thought, to me, it looked like a human-sized Brahms at first.
Yeah.
Like he took a creepy avatar form now that he was released.
Well, because it's all lanky and
creepy,
so spooky.
But then
but it has the porcelain face, and you're like,
it still has the Brahms
holy shit!
But you get
And
a closer
scary.
look. He's got a creepy beard under. He's a man, which was, I guess, supposed to be obvious on the first reveal. But I was just like, so sold.
I don't think it was meant to be obvious until you saw the whole thing with the beard under it, and you're like, oh, that is a mask.
I think it just takes a while to read it. You're like, fuck, that's Brahms.
Yeah.
That's Mams. Brahms.
Are you trying to mix man and Brahms?
Yeah, Brahmsman.
No,
it's Brahms.
It's still Brahms.
Yes.
But so in an instant, this turns from a supernatural horror film into a slasher film.
Man in the Walls.
And it's fucking terrifying.
And that's our shocking gasp.
Yep.
And before we go to the end, you kind of got to go back at this point to everything. That's what I love about this movie, is it just builds so well. There's so many hints, and I love they don't do a flashback.
They never do a flashback.
Like a Saw movie, and I love the Saw movies, but they do that flashback to here's the thing you missed, here's the thing you missed, here's the thing you missed, here's the thing you missed. They didn't. They're like, if you were paying attention, you got it. If not, whatever.
Yep.
And there's scenes of when people talk about Brahms, and then it echoes through these tubes, and then you see the Brahms doll listening. But it's also going through the walls.
But it's actually going through the walls, and Brahms the man is listening through these tubes and hearing what's happening. And also, all of the things, the parents being like, Brahms is still with us, instead of Brahms is dead, but his spirit is still here.
The rats. Brahms don't want no rats in them walls. That's where he lives.
Yeah, and don't throw away any of the food.
We forgot about the leftovers.
You never throw any food away in this house. You put them in the icebox.
Which clearly has a little door in the bottom so Brahms can reach his creepy man hand in there.
And so he can still eat. Fuck.
And everything's so creepy because he's been watching her sleep. He's been moving around. The phone call, and this is where you come in.
Yeah, okay. So
the call was coming from inside the house.
The call was coming from inside the house.
How did he disconnect the line?
He didn't.
Okay.
Well, no, he didn't disconnect the line. It's that in these old style houses, when telephones were first brand new, which is why you have these old style telephones, there used to be a telephone room, probably somewhere in the basement, and you could make calls to different rooms in the house from the house phones, and you had to dial out to the operator to get to the outside. I work in an old historical house, and we have the telephone room, and there is in that room a directory to what numbers you dial to dial into certain specific rooms in the house, and it's insane. So when Brahms is doing the creepy thing on the telephone, it's not that the ghost possessed the phone, it's that Brahms, the person, did a call specifically into Greta's room, and it rang, and she picked it up, and is like, Brahms is on the other line because he's elsewhere in the fucking house.
Loved it.
It was amazing. It was so good.
This has been your old-timey house minute with Amanda.
I love old-timey houses. I love them.
The one thing, when she asks Brahms for a sign, turns around, the plate smash, and he's gone. That was real quick.
That was really quick.
If only, you know what? I will accept it if I want the cutscene of just man Brahms leaning in real quick and just
grabbing the doll.
Because some of they're believable, like how fast Brahms moves around sometimes.
Is not really.
No, it's realistic only if I get the scene of just this
Yoink.
sweaty creep man just like booking it down a hallway, like gotta get there, and just putting the Brahms doll in
I
place.
think that he just follows her in the walls
I
regardless.
think, all right.
So he's always right there. Because that's what he does all days. He just watches her.
Yeah.
So back to the actual part of the movie. So Brahms, actual human Brahms, who did not actually die in that fire,
Brahmsman
comes out of the wall, picks up a piece of the shattered mirror, and fucking stabs Cole in the neck.
Yeah, no big loss there.
Yeah, but that's like, it's straight up murder. It's still straight up murder. It's still straight up murder.
I was fine with it.
I mean, yes, I was too, but it was still one of those things that was holy shit. The first thing that he does when he comes out of the wall is murder a guy.
But then he immediately stands up and turns on the two people I care about.
And he's like, Greta.
Yeah, he does.
He does the weird creepy kid voice.
Creep boy voices.
Greta.
And then just chases them psycho killer through the house.
And she realizes, fuck, I've been in an abusive relationship with an actual man who lives in the walls.
Not just that, she realizes that he's moving through, like, he has access to
every room in the house.
Which is a really good piece of acting on her part. Like, I think it's understated that you could see her realizing as she's running in terror about also what's been happening to her for
the
like,
entire
weeks.
time.
Yeah, and how, like, disgusted she is.
Yeah. And so they run throughout the house. They're trying to get away from him.
Big old creepy chase scene. You hear him moving through walls and coming out of fireplaces, and
then they find their way into the walls to try to find a way out of the house.
Yes.
They stumble upon Brahms's little lair where he has been living for 25 years supposedly.
Yeah.
And he's got some of these like modern appliances and things, and like he has a microwave in there,
microwave down there
to heat up the leftovers, and like a table, and just
those modern conveniences like a table.
No, but it looks like it's like a modern. It's not like an intricately, beautifully carved like dining room table piece. It's like a fucking card table.
Yeah.
And
then there's I don't know what I was gonna call it, a fuck doll, which I'm sure it was.
I mean, I'm sure
there's like a body pillow.
It's like a body pillow made out of
flim flam.
With the salmon dress on it and a brown wig and her necklace.
I thought that was her hair. Did he cut her hair?
He takes a piece of her hair.
Okay, so then he just.
But he had a full. There is a full head of hair on that fuck doll.
I had assumed maybe he was just clipping a little bit every night.
But then they would be small pieces instead of long ones.
All right, fair enough. You think he ordered that wig on Amazon?
No.
Where's he getting it?
I think he had it before.
He just wanted.
It's a creepy old house.
A brunette.
Yeah, I think that's part of why he likes Greta.
All right.
But
what color's hair did the little girl have?
I think she was blonde.
Yeah, oh well. Missed opportunity movie.
Yeah, right? Seriously.
So
but still.
So that's when she extra freaks out.
And is like, holy shit. Because it's in his bed.
He's clearly been fucking this pile of garbage with her dress on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the noise she makes.
No, it's not. That's just the noise that I made. And it's gross. And it's gross. So and then they come across the pile of letters, and they find the letter from the parents that is like... To the ghost. That is like...
So does he have a separate P.O.? You think?
No, because you see the letter arrive on the day that Malcolm brings the mail.
Oh, does it?
And then it disappears.
I was hoping there was like the mailman's like.
And that one goes to Brahms.
The whatever estate, and then the creepy little door at the bottom.
No, it's a little detail that you see the letter arrive to the house, and then Greta never gets it.
Let me see.
And then it's in Brahms's little hideaway, and she reads it and is like, the girl is yours now to love and care for. And she's like, I didn't sign up for this shit. They're paying me well, but not that well.
So they're booking out of the house, and they get to a locked door. They're so close. It's like a locked basement door. And for some reason, Malcolm, instead of them both working on it, because Brahms is not immediately upon them, but Malcolm's like, Greta, get that door open, instead of helping.
It was a window.
But still, he didn't help. Yeah,
Well,
he then goes
he was guarding.
I know, but he's guarding for like an extra 2 minutes before Brahms rounds that corner.
Okay, sure.
He could have helped
fine.
a little bit.
He could have helped a little bit.
So anyway, Brahms rounds the corner and just conks Malcolm out pretty quick because he's got that slasher monster strength.
And then we have the moment where the creepy kid voice turns into like the raspy dude
man
voice. So it goes from like, Greta.
Yeah, don't leave, because she's
Greta,
almost
don't
getting out.
leave.
Yeah.
Greta. And it's like...
Well, then as she's leaving, he's like, if you leave, I'll
I'll kill him!
Like the rest.
I'll kill him like the rest!
Which...
is an interesting point to note.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about it now. I was going to get to, like, it's clearly, because Rest, he killed Cole, but Rest implies there's at least one other dead person. And they never show...
I mean, there's definitely the little girl he killed.
Yeah, but...
But I am under the impression that
he
there
killed
is...
the other nannies. Applicants, yeah. Which the movie never...
Well, not necessarily the other applicants that time, but he had other nannies.
Yeah, I guess throughout...
He definitely had other nannies, and things did not go so well.
Yeah, so the movie doesn't talk about it. Other than that line, I don't think they talk about it
They
at
don't
all.
bring it up at all.
But that line was not an accident, I don't think.
I don't think it was an accident either. I think it was very purposeful.
Yeah.
So she runs away and is like almost at the gate when she's like, I can't do this. I can't do this to Malcolm. So she goes back to the house.
Like front door, and is like,
Brahms,
yeah.
I'm back. I told you I wouldn't leave you, and I haven't. I'm here. Let's do the rules, blah, blah, blah. And she goes through, like, part of the day, and she tucks him into bed and is like, part of your punishment for you pulled earlier is you don't get a good night kiss.
She tucks him in and tries to pull back, and then he's been acting like a complacent child this whole time.
Uh-huh.
But when she doesn't kiss him, he
grabs
her wrist.
And is like, kisses?
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, Brahms, you don't get a goodnight kiss tonight as punishment for what you did earlier. And then he, like, grabs her harder and is like, kisses! And then she fucking kisses him on the doll head.
Yeah, which
lips.
never leaves.
And it's...
Well, then he grabs her.
Yeah.
And tries to make out through the doll mask because he's just mushing her face into this porcelain mask.
Gross.
And she grabbed a screwdriver before she went in and just fucking shoved it into him, which was great. And then he stands up, he grabs her throat, starts to choke her.
He throws her against the wall first,
showing that full with superhuman strength. But again, with slasher movies, you fully accept that.
Yes. 100%.
They get that extra, +2 bonus for slasher
that
class.
Scare factor.
Yeah. And then she's starting to black out. She just grabs that screwdriver in his sternum.
And was like wiggling it around and making sure that it gets all his internal organs.
Just making a slurry in there.
Uh-huh.
And then Brahms drops. And she runs down to the basement.
Doesn't she stab him again?
Does she? I thought she just ran as soon as he dropped.
It's possible.
It's not a big... Well, whatever.
No, I thought she grabbed it, wiggled it around, took it out, stabbed him again, and then he dropped.
The only thing I remember is I thought she was going to lift her legs up and, like, kick it into him. And
I thought she was going to do that, too.
So,
but she
grabbed
it.
I know she grabbed it. So, whatever. He's down.
He drops it.
She doesn't stab him in the head before leaving, which was a mistake.
That was also a mistake. You always want to go for the headshot when you have the opportunity to make sure they're dead.
Yeah. So she grabs Malcolm. They get to the car, and they leave. Well, they open the gate, which you thought at first maybe they wouldn't, but...
Yep, and then they leave.
And they're relatively okay.
And then the creepy lullaby starts up again.
Yeah, and they do this kind of cop-out where they go back and Brahms is in his creep room making another Brahms doll.
He's rebuilding, he's like gluing together the broken pieces of the old doll. And that's the boy!
Yeah, so that's the boy, yeah. And now you want to rip this movie open?
Sure.
You want to put some forceps into its sternum?